Oh my god, there's just so much to cover in this episode. Ugh. What's up, guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be talking about the Promised Neverland episode 9. And there is a lot going on in this episode. Like, at least with the other episodes, even when there's a lot of dialogue and talking, it's kind of broken up into different sections. And I guess you could do that with this. But, like, there's so much information and so much that it's setting up for the future that I don't know where to fully begin. So I guess I'm just gonna start talking and get it all out there, and hopefully I don't miss anything. Let's just start with the fact that Norman has now officially joined Emma and Ray and the kids, and his crew have kind of like turned over a new leaf. Now, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I honestly, like, I mean, it seems like the natural order to be like, oh, Norman is gonna be with the other kids, and it's just like this is how it goes. They're friends, they're family, and they have to be together. But they built up his crew as like this do or die group, and we'll get to some stuff towards the end, or at least later in this video. But they built them up as this do or die group where it's just like they hate demons no matter what, blah 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 blah. And it felt like they very rapidly turned course and changed to a different mindset, and like obviously seeing the old demon and like kind of getting a feel for where the other kids are at, they kind of come around, and that makes sense. I'm not surprised that they would come around in general. It just seems like they just like, okay, Norman is like cool again with the demons, or at least with Norman. It's just like suddenly Norman's like, oh yeah, we're not doing this anymore, and they're just like, okay. So it's kind of weird to have them just like suddenly pull like a 180 on the whole thing, even if they've got some misgivings. It's just awkward. And speaking of which, oh my god, okay, I honestly thought that Barbara was gonna kill those two kids. I was getting ready for it. I was cringing already at the thought that she would take that like kanabo, or that like basically club, and like just beat the crap out of them. I thought it was gonna happen. It didn't, thank God. Woo! So that's what's going on with them. Now, as far as the old man and his like granddaughter, Emma, she has the same name as Emma. But as far as he is concerned, it turns out that he is actually one of the survivors of like the demons that Mujika had saved 700 years prior. So he's been kind of like walking around, hiding the fact that he's got this evil blood, and he even gave a little monologue about how like theoretically he could have been passing around the blood and helping other demons escape the potential of degeneration, but he never did because he was afraid that something bad would ultimately happen. And I understand that. I like the old man. I hope that he comes back at some point. I think him and his daughter are kind of just adorable, honestly. I mean, he's kind of got like that ugly face or whatever, but like they're both kind of freaking adorable. And I loved at the end when Emma, like the human Emma, and Emma the demon, like kind of just like they give each other a good like a little look, and they're like they smile at each other, and it's so adorable. Okay, so what's next? So it turns out that over the radio, well, Emma and everybody were dealing with stuff in the town. It turns out that the kids were listening to the radio, and they heard that Phil and the others were being shipped off, and they don't know exactly what's going on, but we get a little bit of background. It turns out that it's a trap, and I honestly, anybody could see it. Ray even says, hey, this could be a trap. This is like obvious. It's pretty obvious. But it turns out that there's a whole new system being put in place, and the white-haired guy Rafta, turns out that he's alive still, and all of the information from Lambda is still around, and the ultimate plan here is to turn each facility, each farm, into basically another Lambda, and they're basically going processed food here. They went from fresh farm to plate to now they're just gonna have everybody be coming out of a factory, and that's not really great for the demons, but also really not great for the humans. And while we're talking about them planning some stuff, so it's not just him. He's talking to like the head demon or whatever of the facilities and talking about all that jazz. And that's when we learn that Isabella has gotten a promotion. She is now grandma as Isabella, or grandmother Isabella, and no longer mama, which makes sense. I guess everything, at least like as far as I know, everything with like Isabella at this point is like new and anime only, or at the very least the scene with her in the cell, in the jail cell, was anime only, and it's like a new course that they are like deciding to go off on. They've obviously changed a bunch from the manga, and I wouldn't know otherwise because I've never read the manga. I guess they skipped an entire arc, like that time period between the kids escaping from the hideout and to like basically now. But it turns out that she is like getting things going. She's one of the people that is like involved in tricking the kids and saying, "Hey, we're gonna ship out the kid. We're gonna ship out Phil and the others. You might want to come and get them," because they knew that the kids had taken a radio. So that's an interesting little twist, and it kind of makes sense because it's like, well, like if they're like going through the house and it's like burned down, and they're like, "Hey, where's all our shit?" They're probably going to realize, "Hey, one of the radios isn't here." Even if it was burned up, they would know it was there. So it's interesting that they've kept tabs on that. All right, so I've covered Norman joining the kids back up. I've covered the old guy. I've covered grandmother Isabella and the other guy, and Lambda being turned into a multi section thingamabob. What else? Oh, Norman is dying. I guess his crew didn't realize that he was dying and had originally thought that he was just like, oh, he's fine, whatever. But we knew that wasn't going to be the case. He was also being experimented on, and I guess there is technically a way to cure them because they're all having like seizures and are like messed up for real. So there is technically a cure, but they need to get their hands on the information to make said cure. So that's going to be an issue. Before I forget about the old man, it turns out that, okay, so we don't know 100% if this was Minerva or whatever, but apparently for like a long time ago, he had met somebody, a guy who was dying, and he was gripping onto basically the end of a pen, which is the end of I think it was Norman's pen. I don't think it was Emma's pen that she had. I think it was Norman's pen. But he had the end of a pen. And he was gripping onto it, and this is actually kind of a little bit of the old man Vilk, I think his name ended up being, but his backstory about like, oh, he doesn't need to eat humans. He's got the blood. He's good to go. But it turned out that he basically took care of this dude for a little while until he died, and in the end, he took the little piece of cap. He never knew what it was. And then he ate the guy. We don't know if it's Minerva or just somebody that worked with Minerva. Supposedly Minerva's dead. I don't know if I see that 100%. I don't know if it would be something that'd fake out on us or not. But either way, that guy is dead for sure. And they got this cap that basically has a blueprint for all of Gracefield. I think it's Gracefield. And it has like where security would be, where like just everything, basically. It's a blueprint of the house. It's a blueprint of everything, which I don't know. So they burned down the house. Like, obviously, underground, it's like maybe probably the same, and it's not going to necessarily be whatever. But they burned down the house. And even if it like didn't fully get burned down, it's still going to need to be repaired and like probably be bulldozed and built a new one. So you would think that maybe the blueprints wouldn't be exactly accurate anymore. Either way, it's got it shows them where the door to the human world is. It shows them apparently it's got information on the cure. So once they head in, they can get their cure. Norman will be cured. The other people will be cured, and everything's gonna be hunky dory. If they can get in there, they got to go save Phil and all the other kids and all that jazz. But that's a trap. They seem to think that they're going to be shipping Phil out to go to another facility that would be more like Lambda. but in reality, all of the facilities are being turned into Lambda, and that's what the Lambda project is, and what Norman was trying to stop from happening by burning down the Lambda facilities. I think overall I've covered everything, except for one last thing, and Vincent. Oh my god, I can't say I'm surprised because he clearly seems like the most die hard. He was one of the quietest, but like so Barbara, the guy with the like bag over his head, and oh god, I don't remember what his name was. The other guy. They all had serious issues as far as like being angry about the demons, but they all seemed very passionate from a very genuine standpoint. They're all very broken. That's the issue, right? Not just physically, but just emotionally, mentally, and all that. So they're coming from a very genuine point view. Vincent was always kind of the cold, calculated, like kind of like Norman, but like he was like his number two, as far as their group goes, and there's always been something up with him. There's always been something weird about him, and it turns out that he's kind of a snake in the grass. So after they all agree, hey, we're gonna go save Phil and kind of get out of here, they all go to bed. It's just no big deal. He gets up and goes and uses the radio, and it sounds like he's gonna try to make a plea deal for himself. And I don't know. That's just where the episode ends. It's like him being like, "Yo, hey, Gracefield, yeah, I got stuff to talk about with you," and he's gonna be a bad guy at some point, I guess, or at least I mean now he's a bad guy, but like he's gonna try to pull some crap, and I can't say I didn't see it coming in some capacity, but I don't know. Also, while I'm talking about Gracefield, okay, so Isabella's been in a prison for not a long time, but like for a decent amount of time. And then who would be taking care of the kids? Like, let's say they rebuilt the house. Who has been taking care of the kids this entire time? Not Isabella. So who else would be there? I guess another mother, but like that's kind of different. I don't know. I don't know what like I get why they would want to remove Isabella because she failed because the house got burned down, a bunch of kids got away. But at the same time, you'd think that they would like I don't know, try to have some kind of normalcy for the kids, given that like stuck around because they don't want them to know what's going on. I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation. But clearly something's going on. She's a grandmother now. I don't know. I think I've covered just about everything and given my opinion on each point of this episode. There was a lot to talk about. I'm interested to see where they go, especially given that I think this is like kind of some more anime exclusive stuff. I could not tell you otherwise. The anime exclusive stuff could have been just her being in a jail cell or them skipping over an entire arc, which maybe at some point I'll go back and not reread, but read. But I think it's got some interesting prospects to where they're headed with this. Clearly, even if the kids and their group know that they're heading into a trap, it doesn't help even if you know you're heading into a trap, it doesn't help if you still fall into that trap. So that'll be an interesting thing to see where they're headed. Are they going to set some traps themselves? They clearly know like the general area around Gracefield pretty well, so they can like do some cool stuff with that, but they've got to get around security. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this episode. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. I don't know how I feel about Norman and his group just like suddenly being like, okay, we'll join you, blah, blah, blah. I mean, it's a lesson that I think they probably would need to learn at some point, no matter what. But it just kind of happened, and I don't know how I feel about that. That's the first time I felt that like anything was significantly rushed. Now, and that's again coming from my perspective, who's never read the manga. But as far as just the pacing of the actual show, it's the first time it felt like a little bit weird. But yeah, that's like really my only criticism of this episode. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section. Make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed anything I had to say, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye bye.